Action. Hey, everybody, welcome to a brand new MMA Roasted Podcast. It's me, Adam Hunter. I'm here with my baby, Violet, as well as Ween Dog. We're waiting for Jake Ellenberger if he shows up. Hopefully he will. Just trying to make this do. It's hard because my kid was sick on she had 104 on Sunday night. You go to the doctor, but now it's like you don't even want to go to the doctor because you can get more sick at the doctor's office now than you can in the hospital. So then her grandma was supposed to come and help watch, and then she didn't come, and I can't take her anywhere, and I got to, so I'm watching the baby all day, and then I got a bunny that we rescued running around eating all the cords, and a dog who's blind and deaf crapping everywhere.
Yeah.
3 cats that are surrounding the bunny. It's just, and the bunny's chasing around the cats while my wife's yelling at me that I'm not doing enough. And I'm trying to actually get all this stuff done. I got a great wife. She's the best. But anyway, so here we are trying to get this done. Hopefully.
You're living in chaos.
Living in chaos. It's just hard because it's like they keep taking things away. It's like, okay, my job is taken away. I was supposed to write the MMA awards. That got postponed to October if we're even going to have a live one. I was supposed to work with the PFL this year. Whole season got canceled. All my shows got canceled in August. All my shows in July. All my shows in June. Just everything just keeps getting taken away from me. And so then they're like, okay, so I'm like, all right, I'll work on being a parent, obviously. I'm working on that anyway, but I'll stay home more. And then they're like, okay, but you can't take the kid anywhere. You can't go to the parks closed. The classes are closed. And then the kid gets sick, and then it's like nobody can come over to even play with the kid. It just keeps one after – it's just – before you know it, it's going to be me and my daughter in a closet, just with a shaking. But trying to make things work. I mean, rolling with the punches, trying to be funny, have a good – look, the good thing is I have a beautiful family, and I'm still working to some extent. I'm doing Zoom comedy shows on Friday nights. Those have been a hit. I'm doing shows on Tuesdays. I got a show on Saturday. It's just people are asking me, hey, this Friday I got booked at a strip club to do comedy. And I'm like, hey, babe, is it okay if I go to a strip club for X amount of money? And then so if I go out there and come back, then who knows who I came in contact with. Then her parents can't come over. Her mom can't come over to babysit, and she just retired from work. And so it's just the babysitter can't come over. We don't know where she's been. We all got tested on Monday. None of us have COVID. So that's good. But so even gigs that I'm getting, live gigs, I'm having to say no to just because it's not worth it as far as the money and the stress and everything else. I go, hey, babe, you mind if I do this show? She's like, if you want to get divorced. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll be there. It's just, yeah, how are you doing, man? And then, so Monday, obviously, we canceled the show because I had to be with my daughter all day to get her better. And I can't even, do work while doing – I can't, put her in front of the TV because she goes, who dat? Who dat? Who dat? And I have to answer all her questions. So I have to watch the movie with her to answer who the princess is. And it's the same person. Who dat? Who dat? Who dat? Who dat? So it's just been and even and now she's into whining. So she goes, anything she wants, she just either fake cries or whines. And she's almost 2. And I'm look, stop whining. We don't whine. When she hurts herself, I got to have to say, I'm tough. It's just, she won't eat anything except for the bottle right now. It's brutal, man. But look, I love her and I'm blessed and I love my wife, but man, it's just, this is hard. It's hard to be a parent anyway. Then you throw a pandemic, then you throw no activities, and you can't, and then you throw an illness, a sickness, which we don't know what it is. And it's just, it's brutal. I will
tell you this. I am so thankful for the UFC for actually putting on events. And, with Fight Island, they had 3 events last week. I'm just so thankful because I actually have something to look forward to in the week because I'm not doing anything yet. I'm just sitting at home. I worked a long time on Tuesday on the podcast. I created a different style thumbnail, and I think those thumbnails are cool.
Thank you for that.
So I think I'm going to start doing that, have more goofy, unique thumbnails for the podcast episodes. And I'm really excited for this weekend's fight card. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, this is a freaking pay-per-view worthy event, dude, in my opinion. What do you think about that?
I think Jake's going to join us in a minute, so I want to wait for Jake.
Okay.
By the way, I am aware that I'm complaining about my kid whining while whining. So I know people are going to say, stop whining. And look, I get that. I'm blessed. I have a perfectly healthy, beautiful kid. I'm just saying, like, she's at that age now where, I don't know if you guys are parents, when someone becomes 2 years old, where they learn to just whine and we have to just not give in. At the same time, sometimes she really is hurt. Like, I have to make sure she doesn't step on Legos or have a boo-boo or this or that. So I get it. I get it. But look, I mean, it's just hard. Even like it used to be, you know, I go on the road. My wife and I would get in an argument or something. I go on the road, kind of, you know, absence makes the heart grow fonder. I can't leave my house. It's just, and when it's just two people with a kid, it's just, you know, my wife works from 8 to 6. She gets off work and then she watches the kid, but then she makes dinner. So which is great, but I'm like, it's hard. Thank God for like this thing called Fight Camp, this app I got where I do an hour a day or 45 minutes a day on a punching bag. Cause that's physical health is mental health. Okay. Yeah. So it's not one or the other. If you're physically tired, worn down, feeling good about yourself because of a workout, you are mentally going to be happier. It's not either or. When I was my most depressed was when I got my ACL surgery because I couldn't move. I could run a little bit, but I got fat, I got depressed. So if anybody, you know, is watching this and you're having a tough time, look, I'm not really an advice giver because I'm basically too hard on myself and I go, well, I do that too. But my advice would be to make sure you're working out 4 or 5 days a week during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Whether it's just a run, and there's all these different free apps. Even the Fight Camp app is free. It's a free app, and they'll give you 5 workouts a week. Now, my wife, for my birthday present, got me the punching bag, and then the trackers and the boxing gloves. So like, I love it. It's the best. But I'm telling you guys, you wanna, if you're having a tough time, go get a heavy bag. It's like $50, $100 off Amazon or something. You probably get one off Craigslist. Get those little sands. I had to go to Lowe's to get sand, which, by the way, we had extra sand, so we made a sand castle in the backyard, and now all the local cats shit in it. So now we have
litter box.
Yeah, we have a giant litter box in the backyard. But I'm telling you, you want to feel good about yourself, get physically healthy. So let's speak of which. Mike Tyson is fighting Roy Jones.
I just saw that, dude. That's crazy. There's actually a date set for it, right?
It was announced today in September 13th, I believe it is. I like this fight. I mean, look, I'd much rather see this than have Mike Tyson fight a guy right now who's a top 10 guy who just beats the shit out of him. And we all say, well, back in Mike's prime, Mike would have killed him. Okay, that kind of happened with Lennox Lewis. Maybe Mike wouldn't have wanted Mike's prime against Lennox Lewis, but it would have been a lot closer than the fight that they had. So Roy Jones Jr. has fought way too long, but still has it. I mean, still has something. He's still good. I like this fight. I guess it's at heavyweight.
Okay.
I don't know who wins this. It's an 8-round exhibition. You know they're going to be trying to knock each other out. You know, they're not going to, like, play it safe. I can't see Mike Tyson going easy on anybody.
Now, like for someone like me, I'm very ignorant when it comes to boxing. I don't know anything about it. I obviously know about Mike Tyson and, you know, his legacy, but can you give me a little backstory on Roy Woods Jr.? So I have like a little, you know, something to go off of.
So a little backstory. Okay. All right. So Jake Ellenberger, by the way, says 1 minute. That was 8 minutes ago. Okay. Okay. Ready when you are. So Roy Jones Jr. was the best middleweight, maybe, well, when I say middleweight, let's just, I'm going to call him middleweight. Maybe people go, well, he was actually a light cruiser. Okay, of his time, he was unbelievable. And he won the gold medal in the Olympics, and his first 30, 40 fights, he was so good. Nobody could touch him. His speed was insane. He would do things like put his hands behind his back and like for the entire round and then throw one punch and knock you out. He was doing things that he was basically like what Anderson Silva did to Forrest Griffin, what he would do every single fight. There was one guy, I think it was Montel Griffin, that beat him, but it wasn't even like he actually beat him. Like Roy hit him below, Roy knocked him down, and then the guy came back up and he hit him again when he was like had a knee on the ground, so they called it disqualification. And then in the rematch, Roy beat him in 1 round. Just blew him out.
Wow.
Roy was next level. I mean, but he would do things like they said. He would do everything fundamentally incorrect. Hands were down, chin was kind of up, taunting, but his reflexes were just next level. I mean, he was so good. It was must-see TV. Now, he went up to heavyweight, and he beat this guy, John Ruiz, who was the champion at the time. I think he beat Holyfield, but it was like he beat a over-the-hill Holyfield, and there was like 3 different belts, and maybe he had the weakest belt of them all. And if for some of you boxing aficionados, I'm getting some of it wrong, I know, okay? This is maybe revisionist history, but this is my opinion, and okay, you get it. So Roy then went back down to cruiserweight, and he went up, got the belt, went back down, and he fought fucking Antonio Tarver, who the first time they fought was a very close fight. I thought Tarver almost had him, but it was one of those things like you got to beat the champ. When they had a rematch, Tarver had his number. He's like, "You got any excuses tonight, Roy?" And Tarver knocked him out. I think it was like the 9th or 10th round. It was the first loss of Roy Jones's career, and people were like, so then Roy went on, and he ended up. That's Jake Ellenberger. After that, Roy went on and had he lost to guys that he never should have lost to. Glenn Johnson was one of them. He kind of had it up and down. He's still been fighting. Now, personally, he got popped for, I think, steroids at one point or some shit went down. Personally, I think the mistake was to go up to heavyweight and come back down. I think that because he didn't – Roy
basically clean.
Because Roy was one of those guys that, when he didn't gain fat, he just gained muscle. So when he came back down to fight Antonio Tarver, he was losing muscle. Now,
interesting.
I'll tell you, here's how good he was. James Toney, in his prime, was almost unbeatable. And Roy Jones beat James Toney in his prime. Now, there was a thing where James Toney lost too much weight the night before, had to get an IV, but that's on Toney. He was asking about Roy Jones. Roy Jones. Oh, yeah. Legend. I mean, he was a legend. Now, he's fighting Mike Tyson, Jake, right?
I did hear. I did read that.
What are your thoughts on this fight?
It's a money grab. It's interesting. I wish I was more interested, but I'm really not. It's hey, they're getting paid.
I mean, Mike Tyson's 53 years old. Do you think Mike's just gonna go out and just blow him out in 1 round? I mean, Roy, his chin hasn't held up in later years. He's been knocked out by guys that he never would have touched him in his prime.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those. There's so many questions, but it's fun. It's fun to speculate at their ages. Okay, let's see what happens.
I mean, I made look. I said it's going to air on the History Channel. They're going to stream it on Blockbuster Video. They're going to have an actual ramp to get there. I mean, it's the fight of the decade. There's so many great jokes there. But the thing is, take my money. I'm watching this fight because it's also two guys that I want to see fight. It's not Jake Paul versus Logan Paul. It's not guys that I'm like, do I want to see this? I mean, even out of respect to these two. And I like the fight because they're both past their prime, over the hill, shell of themselves. So I think I think it might be interesting. No?
Yeah, the winner's going to fight Dan Henderson. Do you know
that? In their prime, obviously Tyson wins. He was bigger. But if you went pound for pound, I'd say Roy Jones is the better fighter.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a big argument for Roy Jones as far as pound for pound. But, yeah, again, the weight class, the ages, there's a lot of what ifs, I don't know.
Yeah, do you guys think this is actually going to be a good fight, like a competitive fight, or is this going to be we're just going to hype it up extremely until it gets to the fight, and then it's just super boring or depressing to watch, like Liddell versus Tito?
Probably the second. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be better than Liddell versus Tito because Chuck Liddell couldn't walk at that point. I mean, he barely could walk, and Tito he just stood there for Tito. I heard people that were there when they showed Chuck Liddell getting out of the car heading to the arena. He was kind of wobbling a little bit. It was they were like, oh no. So, Roy Jones has been fighting. I mean, up until probably a year ago or 2 years ago. And Tyson looks great physically. and on the bag looks amazing. Although I think they might be speeding up some of those training montages.
Really?
The last one, I'm like, I don't know. This thing looks a little bit, fucked with. Who's on the undercard? Is it going to be Art Jimerson versus Hoist 2? I mean, who's on the undercard? Tank Abbott versus Don Fry?
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Sega versus Nintendo 64? I mean, who's on the undercard? Hey, talk to me.
There's so many potential funny undercard fights. Throwing some MMA fights there, some boxing matches, but I mean, I'm definitely gonna watch. There's no, I'm for sure watching. But yeah, I don't know. That's gonna be where's it at? Have they announced like a date and location yet?
Atlantis.
Atlantis.
No, Jake, I gotta talk to you. So my daughter, she's almost 2. She's in the whining phase.
She's so cute.
But she's so cute, but she whines. Or she goes, please help, please help, please help. But then I go, what do you need help with? And it's like her Lego. It's not like she's hurt. Please help, please help. But it's nothing that normally it's really nothing. Like she can't get her stroller out the door or something. How do I get her to toughen up, stop whining?
That's just a phase, that age too. I mean, one of my youngest son, he's 2, and he's almost 3, but yeah, there's a period of time where he goes to that like I need your help, and it's like he's like putting his head through like the banister, like you don't need help.
Okay, no. What about my kid yesterday slammed the bunny cage door on the bunny? How do I get her to be nicer to animals?
That I don't know. Yeah, you probably.
Yeah, you can't help me with this.
What's that?
You can't help me with this.
I mean, with animals, I don't know. That might be more for mom. I don't know. I mean, we hunt, we do a lot of things that are probably not the best for animals, but.
All right, let's talk about some of the fights this week. By the way, I think the Bellator card might be as good as the UFC card. People are sleeping on the Bellator card. Bellator does not promote. They don't believe in commercials. This is one of those things where I think that they try to have a VIP audience where like they just, if you know about it, because this actual card is awesome, but nobody knows. For example, Ricky Bandejas, who's the guy who did that Shawn Michaels kick on James Gallagher, is fighting Sergio Pettis.
Good fight.
I like Pettis all day. I think he's fought better people. I think he's a better fighter. I think Bandejas, every time he steps up, he doesn't get the job done. Who do you like in this fight?
Yeah, I like Sergio too. I mean, he's impressed me even his last couple fights. But I've seen that Bandejas. He's fought a couple of guys that were like that went to he's certainly tough as hell. But I would give the edge to Sergio. Obviously, in striking, he's a little more. He's probably facing better competition too. You're right there.
Joe?
I'd probably go with Sergio, but I honestly, this is like one of those fights. It's going to be very, very difficult to pick. Do you want me to show you the entire card? I can share my screen really quick. There's like 6 fights on the card.
Sure.
You got your cowboy hat on? Is that?
Yeah, this is my freaking. I'm in the desert right now. It's freaking badass. All right, here we go.
Now, Jake, is there something to be said about like the guy who's fought better competition, right? Obviously, he has the advantage, but at the same time, he's been in less wars. So could sometimes that be a disadvantage?
Well, they've both been in wars. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd say whoever's taking less damage, that would play a role.
Right.
And you see Sergio in some close fights and come out on top. But
so also on this card, Jordan Mayne, who I mean, I thought he was in the UFC up until 2 days ago. I like this guy. He's fighting Jason Jackson, who looks like he's in Parliament, but this dude is actually legit. He went a split decision loss to what's his name, to Ed Ruth, but it was a fight I thought he won against Ed Ruth. He's won 4 out of 5. I'm giving him that Ed Ruth fight too because he won that fight. This dude's like really good, very slept on. Jordan Mayne's a guy who's been around, but I like Jason Jackson in this fight.
What are the odds? Have you seen the odds yet?
No. Who do you like in this fight?
I don't know much about Jackson, to be honest. I've seen Jordan Mean fight quite a bit. That's a good fight, though. I mean, it's hard to say. Like I said, if you think that if he had that close fight with Ed Ruth, I mean, then he, that guy can fight for sure. So.
Ed Ruth is the guy. By the way, Jordan Burroughs took a picture yesterday or today at the UFC Institute saying he basically, from what I heard, allegedly he's thinking about MMA.
No chance.
No chance?
0% chance. No.
Why?
Jordan Burroughs, no, he's a smart guy. I know him. I know his wife. Great people. No chance. He's made that clear. I mean, I don't know if that was for for the media, for a publicity stunt. No chance. He's no chance.
How do you think he would do?
Well, I think he'd do very well. I mean, you look at like Usman. I mean, very similar styles, wrestling backgrounds. Obviously, Jordan's a world and Olympic champ, but.
Do you think it'll be hard for him though? Because, I mean, he's got such a big name. Everyone will be gunning for him. Obviously, they would try to expose his striking and his jiu-jitsu because we don't know those. I mean, obviously, and it would be hard because, like, Henry Cejudo, I think, did it perfectly because he had, like, 7 or 8 fights in LFA. Yeah. He missed weight a couple times, but he did it, like, on a smaller scale where it wasn't a huge deal. And then when he got to the UFC, he had 8 or 9 fights under his belt versus a guy like Jordan Burroughs. Yeah. They're not – I mean, they're going to throw him right to the wolves, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the big question too is even just developing, giving him enough time to develop. I mean, you look at Usman, he had a good amount of fights before he fought in the UFC, which is good as far as MMA experience. But, yeah, with credentials like Olympic world champion, it's going to be hard to, give him a guy who's – 4 and 6, like.
Yeah, right. I mean, right? I mean, that's the thing. If I were Jordan Burroughs, I would go to the smaller league first. But a guy like that, then you're gonna take a huge pay cut, and you're taking a huge risk, and even that's gonna be a hard thing to do. I mean, Bellator would probably put him in a fucking main event, opening fight, and then ruin the guy. The UFC,
and I think AKA did a really good job with a lot of their guys, like even with like a Cormier, or people. People that they've developed over the years. I think they did a good job. So it's like
he wasn't as high profile as Burroughs though. Cormier, no one even knew really. Well, no one in wrestling circles, but no one really. It wasn't Jordan Burroughs.
Yeah, Cordell for sure. Credential. That's what I'm saying. But I think like, that's the biggest question if they can develop. I mean, you may only get one. You suffer a couple of bad losses, a couple bad knockouts. And then it's like. It can go downhill from there. We've seen that plenty of times with wrestlers that are even like not even close to his credentials. You know what I mean? Right.
So also Ed Ruth is on this card against Solo Hatley Jr. Ed Ruth is a guy that I don't know. I feel like as of right now hasn't lived up to his potential in MMA. I hate to say that, but he has such a huge buzz about him, and I feel like that buzz has been. I know he kind of gassed out a little bit against Gracie. I think he lost another fight, right? What's Ed Ruth's record? Bring that up.
I don't even see him on the card.
Oh, I guess he took him off the card. He was on the card.
They might have. There's only like 7 fights on the card. I don't see him on here on SureDog.
Oh, because on MMA Junkie they had him against a guy named Solo Hatley Jr. But Ed's right there. I mean,
he's facing Aaron Pico. Hatley Jr. is Hatley Jr. is fighting Aaron Pico.
Oh, Edwards on the card?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't see him at all.
Okay, all right. So I'm an idiot. All right. So Pico versus Solo Hatley. So have you trained with Pico at all, Jake?
I did a little bit when he was in Vegas, but yeah, he's down in Albuquerque for the most part.
How's he looking?
Yeah, a little bit. He looks great, man. Kid's always got an incredible work ethic, but yeah, I haven't seen him in a few weeks, but he looked good when I saw him.
Have you ever taken him down?
We've trained quite a bit to get it out of him. We've trust me. Listen, I'm 35 years old. Aaron Pico, I wrestled with him when he was like 16, man, and I was like, couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe how good he was.
Did you tap Pico in practice or no? Who won the exchanges? Tell us the truth.
You know what, Adam?
Give us the exclusive here.
No, well, first of all, I'm a lot bigger than you. Like, wait.
Oh, Jake fucked up Pico. You heard it here first, people. Make sure you tweet that out. Jake versus Pico, the rematch. I'm kidding. Okay, sorry.
That's the new thumbnail for this episode.
Yeah, right.
Also on this card, Cass Bell, who's 5-0, looks like a stud, taking on Rufian Stotts, whose only loss is to Merab, who's in the UFC. Merab is fighting John Dodson coming up. Merab caught with a spinning back fist in 15 seconds. When a guy loses in 15 seconds with a spinning back fist, I know it's a loss, but sometimes that's kind of an aberration, right? You just got caught. I mean, do you even consider that the guy's better than you, or just a unlucky bad night at the office kind of a thing?
Yeah, I mean that could be chalked up as a tactical error. You know, you caught with the spinning back fist, but yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily one guy's better, but
right. Would you rather lose, Jake, by getting dominated for 3 rounds, or by some crazy like Ben Askren flying knee against Masvidal?
I mean, whatever's the less damage, to be honest.
I don't know what's less damage in that situation.
That's subjective. I don't know. You know, if you're on the losing end of getting beat up for 3 rounds, that could.
I mean, I would almost rather lose by flying knee, because you could be like, oh, look, come on, I didn't do anything. Like, you didn't see that coming. No one thought that coming. It was a fucking one. It was a Hail Mary, versus like getting dominated and taken down over and over again. You're like, my wrestling sucks or whatever. My strength sucks.
Yeah, either way, it's more just embarrassing. I mean, even like Askren, like the guy dominated. How many guys did he dominate? Like for 3 or 5 rounds?
Yeah,
19,
totally.
20. A lot of he did. Okay, you got caught with a flying knee. I mean, you know, bad timing, bad tactical error, whatever. But it's like he's made a lot of people look bad.
Dude, I was so depressed, and he was texting me an hour before that fight about like, yo, our sketch got a lot of views, and I'm like, hey man, you know we'll get more views, you fucking submitting Masvidal, right? And then he was like, I don't know, I don't think the UFC would put. I'm like, dude, no, that's not the point. I mean, who am I to tell anyone how to focus? You know, sometimes people, that's the way they focus.
Don't talk to Adam if you're within like a week of a fight.
Oh wow, fuck you. First of all, that's not true. I've had plenty of guys. Yeah.
I'm joking.
All right. So now also bare knuckle boxing tomorrow night.
That's the one.
Isaac Valley Flag is fighting Luis Palomino. He's the guy that went like 3 fights against Justin Gaethje in back when it was WSOF.
Yeah.
He had those wars. Are you excited for this fight?
You know, bare knuckle is fun to watch. I don't really have an appetite to do it, but I'll watch for sure. I like Isaac. He's a cool cat, man.
He's a great guy. He's a guy that actually he's been through a lot. I don't know if you know about what he's been through, but he was caught like on meth with a shotgun trying to rob a bank like 3 years ago. He had a complete the guy's life fell apart. It fell apart, and then he came back, got himself together. He's 3-0 in bare knuckle boxing. I am so excited for him. So Jake, I didn't tell you about our guest today. That's how we do things here at MMA Roasted. We don't tell our guests about our other guests. Felicia Spencer is here. You know Felicia Spencer? Jake?
How you doing?
But you're here with Jake Ellenberger and Ween Dog. Felicia is the toughest girl I've ever seen in my life. Now, some people don't like to be called tough. Remember, I called Tim Kennedy tough. He got mad. Do you like to be? Now you are so tough. Do you like being called tough or no?
I don't mind. I mean, I didn't get in the game to be known as just being tough, but I mean, my durability points just keep going up. So, it is what it is.
I mean, you're also extremely skilled. You're awesome. But oh my God, your fights against Cyborg and Amanda Nunes, like I was tapping out. Like I was like, I threw the towel at the TV. Like I was like, oh, and you just kept going and going. Yeah. What? Like, are you made out of rock? Like, do you have ice for veins? How do you fucking just keep going?
I mean, I'm just determined, it's, for me, I always know that I can do better than what I've shown, and I just think there's always a chance, you see so many competitors just pull one out at the very end. So for me, I'm just always hanging on to that little bit of hope, even if, in the last fight I knew she was one step ahead of me almost, the whole time. So for me, it was, I just know I could have a moment there.
Are there bears behind you right now? Where are you? Are you in the woods? What is that behind you?
I'm in my backyard. These are my banana trees. That's my dog.
Oh,
Is that the bear you saw? He's
Oh,
a King Corso, so he's 100 pounds as a 9-month-old.
Wow.
So
That's like
he's
Jake's
awesome.
kids too. Jake's kids are also 100 pounds. Now you're, by the way, you're awesome. I've been a fan of yours since Invicta when you were just running through chicks. And I did some research on you. You're a math teacher?
I was a math teacher up until May. Shortly after I signed my contract to fight Amanda, I put in my notice that I was just going to take some time off, and then eventually, just stepped away. But I was a math teacher for my whole fighting career up until then. Yeah.
Like my math teacher never fought Cyborg. What did your kids say when you were trying to teach math and you were in the UFC the next day?
The nice thing is I was a virtual math teacher, so I didn't see anyone face to face, over phone call mostly. They text a lot, obviously, over video lessons and stuff. Not a lot of them ever mentioned it, honestly. Just a handful of them ever mentioned it. Usually it was the ones that were also like athletes, or I had a lot of homeschool kids that were like Olympic, aspiring to be in the Olympics, so they kind of like understood the dream of an athletic dream. So for that, we got to connect a little bit. Or there was like one student that was like, oh my God, if you can do all this, then I guess I can just do my homework,
That's awesome.
math. And I was like, I reached one kid. He started to do his homework after we talked about it. That was the only kid though.
Did you incorporate your fighting? Like, all right, if I have 2 black eyes and 1 ACL, what is it? No.
Not good.
Now you grew up in Canada, right?
I actually didn't grow up there. My family left when I was about 4, so I've grown up mostly in Florida.
Okay, and like you joined Orlando Top Team?
It's called the Jungle MMA.
The Jungle MMA in Orlando.
You might know some of the names. Seth Petrozelli is one of the owners. Tom Lawler was also an owner back in the day. He's no longer with the team, but
okay.
Yeah, I've been there for about 10 years.
Those 2 had the best walkout ever.
Yeah.
Who
let the dog out?
A leash. It was like some weird bondage thing. I didn't understand any of it.
They haven't grown up.
So now what do you think you could have done differently when you fought Nunes?
I haven't taken a lot of time to break down that fight. I only watched actually like the first 2 rounds of it, and it's not like I'm trying not to watch it. I just needed to take a step away from it a little bit. I was really disappointed with how things went. I think for me in that fight, it was like she started to be ahead of me. Like, not when I say ahead of me, I mean like everything I would do, she seemed to just know it was coming. She really knew what I was about to do every step in the beginning. I think that got to me a little bit, and I think if I would have just been able to make some adjustments better, I could have brought a better game into the later rounds.
You think she had spies on you?
No, I think she's just a really talented, she's the greatest of all time. What can I say? It is what it is.
2 best girls of all time.
It's really hard, so.
Yeah. Now, who hits
harder?
harder?
Have to throw anyone off their game,
Who hits harder, Cyborg or Nunes?
Honestly, I felt like Nunes hit harder to the head. I felt like Cyborg really fucked up my body a lot more. Like body strikes really wore on me in the Cyborg fight more, and head strikes more so in the Nunes fight.
Jake, any questions for the beautiful Felicia Spencer?
Sorry, it's been I got kids in here. It's been crazy. Sorry about that. But no,
You're right.
I apologize. No, I'm a big fan. I also agree. I think a lot of fighters, they don't like to be just known for their toughness, but she's always fun to watch and entertaining. So I'm a fan.
Well, thanks.
Now you tapped out Megan Anderson in 1 round. They're trying to say Megan is going to fight Nunes next. Do you think she's got a shot?
I think anyone has a shot. That's the thing. In this game, it's just who shows up on that night and who makes the right decisions at the right moment.
Right.
Anyone can make a bad decision or just get lucky or anything can happen. So I definitely think I would love to see Megan fight Nunes, and I'd be interested in the fight for sure.
And Megan hits really hard too. I've seen her knock women like cold,
Yeah.
Let's talk about you. Okay, so here you are. You're this nice Canadian. Your brothers were all karate stars.
We did train together. We grew up, doing martial arts together, and then one of them, my middle brother Derek, he stuck with me longer. But then they all, they kind of found their own way in life, and they didn't stick with jiu-jitsu and taekwondo and everything we were doing. So
nice. Now, does taekwondo work? Because I think it works, but other people are telling me it doesn't work. What do you think?
You can take from any martial art and make the right things work.
Right.
And for anything you do, it's the agility, the strength, the coordination, all of that stuff plays into fighting, and nothing does that better than traditional martial arts like karate, taekwondo. Like I started to dabble back into Shotokan karate with Seth. Actually, he started a dojo at the gym. And it's it's just that like small movement, awareness of your body, agility, coordination, all that stuff really is
I just got taekwondo. I was a green belt, but I couldn't break the board, so I started crying when I was like
mental toughness too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was horrible. Like everyone could break a board but me. Like my sister could break it. Everyone could break it. I remember Jake said the karate doesn't work. Remember you were like bashing karate for a while.
On mute.
Jake's fucking sound doesn't work either. Okay.
My bad. It was on mute.
Because remember you were saying karate's bullshit?
There are parts of it, maybe.
I'm kidding. He didn't say that.
Don't recall. Yeah.
I understand the arguments, but
I'm just
like in taekwondo, I never got punched in the face until I started doing kickboxing. Like that was a big change for me. That was obviously
for sure
not good for real life training, not getting hit in the face ever. But
and by the way, it got taken out of context because it's not that, like how many people think about it though. How many people have with a karate style background fight in MMA or are at the highest level? There's just not a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, even my buddy Giga, he's K1 champ, European karate world champion, and I learned more from that guy in a couple of years than in 10 years, but there's definitely value in bringing a lot of those skills and just the awareness and the management.
He didn't really say it. I was just fucking with him.
You can take a dance class and take something away from it physically,
Right.
And add some grace to your game.
Now, are you single? You have a boyfriend? You married? You girlfriend?
I'm married. I have my husband around here somewhere. Yeah.
Nice. How long have you married?
We got married in December. We were together for 5.5 years before we got married. So it's been a while.
So he waited to after you fought for the title? That's not cool.
No, he had proposed to me 3 years before we got married. So I was still in Invicta, and we got together before the Invicta days. So I was still amateur back then. And
he's a fighter too?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Todd Coppinger.
Todd Coppinger. All right.
His career got delayed a little bit for different reasons, work and injuries and stuff like that. But he's pro. He turned pro earlier this year. But he's his record doesn't show what he's capable of because he's a stud for sure. Obviously.
He's a stud. I need my wife to call me a stud. Now when he gets injured, are you like, oh, you're complaining? Look at me. I walk through fire and had come on. There's nothing he could say.
But I think he just gets injured so he doesn't have to do the dishes and stuff,
Yeah,
I feel like he does it on purpose.
And then you guys met at the gym?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, that's these guys. I'm telling you, my daughter's not going to work out at a gym with guys because these guys are slick. Jake used to hook up with all the girls at the gym. There were no more girls at the gym because of him, right? Didn't have
They all left.
That's not true, actually. No.
So are you helping? Do you guys train together?
We train some ways together. We do, conditioning, and we like grappling together. We don't spar together that much. Gets a little crazy, and he's a big guy. He walks around over 200 usually and fights at 170. So he's a little big, a little heavy-handed.
Nice. And who do you want to fight next?
Honestly, whatever is thrown at me. They haven't been signing a lot of other featherweights. I'm not sure what the options are. So I haven't really been giving it much thought, but the landscape changes so quickly that I'm not planning on fighting over the next few months or anything. I just got off of my I had a broken nose and orbital, so the end of my 6 weeks is up like next week. So I haven't even really done any training. So we'll kind of see where the landscape falls at the end of the year and see where I'm at.
I just gotta say, Felicia, it is such an honor to talk to you because I'm such a fan. You have so much. I know you don't want to say you have heart and you're tough, okay? But I mean, you're all grit and everything, and it's such an honor.
Well, thanks.
So, I'm a huge fan of yours, and thank you for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I was afraid I might get really roasted on the podcast. I wasn't sure how it would go down.
No, that's not.
I'm like such a big fan of your roasting on fight night that I was like.
I was gonna say, you know what's funny? When you were fighting, right? There was one thing I was gonna post, but I'm like, because I never make fun of people when they lose, because I don't do that. The only time people.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say when you lost, I was gonna write bye Felicia.
Yeah.
But then I was like. Yeah.
Everyone does that. Yeah,
but it was also kind of like, like there was nothing gonna be like, I was like, I thought it would be kind of like you were showing so much heart. I didn't want to like, So,
well, thanks. I guess it could have been a lot worse.
Plus, it wasn't that clever anyway. So I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
You're awesome. I was super excited, and you're right. Every time I was like, especially that Cyborg fight, and then I was like. Holy shit! I don't understand how you could take a punch like that.
It's me.
I think your jaw is made out of something. Like I've never seen a stronger jaw in my life. Fuck.
I don't know what to say. Yeah, crimson chin over here.
Like, have you ever been hurt? Like rocked?
Hurt? I mean, I was rocked in the fight a little bit.
Have you ever been knocked out?
No, I mean, I've been dropped in the gym accidentally a couple times. Yeah, like a flash, probably twice since I've been training a long time, so it's really not bad.
Yeah. So, well, keep it up.
Thank you.
Be safe. And I'll talk to you soon, Felicia.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys. Nice to talk to you.
Take care.
Felicia Spencer. Nice girl. You would never know that she's a straight killer, huh?
Very funny. It's like, when she puts her 2-week notice in as a teacher, you're like, yeah, by the way, I'm going to fight in the UFC. So,
fuck. So you gotta leave in 5 minutes, Jake?
Yeah. We're going out to a river. So
you're going to a river?
Yeah.
All right, let's break down some fights real quick then.
Well, my brother's got a camper on the river. Yeah.
Which brother, Adam or Joe?
Yeah, Adam. Yeah.
I like Adam. Nice guy. All right, so let's talk about this week. Whitaker versus Till. I'm picking Whitaker.
Whitaker all day, baby.
Better all-around fighter. You?
Fun fight. Yeah, I think it's gonna be the first 3 rounds are gonna be intense. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Whitaker as well. That guy's he's impressed me in a lot of his fights, man. But plus, Till, I don't know how much experience he has at middleweight, but Whitaker can take a punch, man. That guy's got a chin.
Oh, what did you think of a guy, one of your training partners, Gastelum, last week? You think he just got caught? Like, because somebody else was saying, Vince was saying, how did he not know how to defend that heel hook?
That was kind of weird, man. That was weird. I was like, did he have friends that put a bunch of money on the other guy? Like, what the hell? Like, that was weird.
He's just been way too confident, maybe.
You think it was a brain freeze? Like, it's just a brain lapse?
Yeah, it's probably like when I fought him and he took my back and I just froze for a second and he got a choke on me. Do you remember that fight, Mexico City?
I do remember that fight, and I remember going like, man, how come Jake's not defending? But at the same time, like, I don't train jiu-jitsu. Like, I know wrestling. This is what I hate about jiu-jitsu practice, is that I feel like everyone just flows for fucking 3 hours or 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, whereas wrestling, you drill single legs over and over and over and over. You drill front headlocks over and over and over. I feel like with jiu-jitsu, you drill something like 3 or 4 times. Like, okay, let's move on. So, do you drill that defense over and over again in jiu-jitsu practice?
Well, it's just awareness. For me, I look at positions that you've been in a millions of times. But yeah, it's just timing's everything. So it's like, if you have even if it's a 1 second delay, or even you see the guys that literally just do jiu-jitsu, and it's all about it's a game of inches. You know what I mean? So it's, and I don't know if it was just like me being surprised or just hesitating, whatever it was. When there's a second goes by, you give up a bad position, and then it's like it's almost like you're like Coach Dwayne Ludwig would always talk about, like when you're processing. Like so the shorter time you can cut all the processing out, the less time you are to think, the better. So
yeah, that makes sense. You have to go, Jake? You keep looking back and forth. Or can we go over 2 more fights?
Yeah, go. Shoot.
All right. So we got Shogun versus Little Nog.
What is it, 1999?
This should be on the Tyson undercard.
No, I'm gonna go with Shogun. I mean, it's an interesting fight, but yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards Shogun. I mean, he looks like he's a little more has a little more energy, a little more more athletic ability. I don't know.
Yeah, he won his last fight.
He hasn't looked bad at all in his past couple fights.
I know.
Okay, Gustafsson versus Verdum.
I'm going with Verdum.
Really?
What?
It's an interesting fight, but hey, I'm gonna go with Verdum by submission.
Have you trained? Yeah, that's because he's your coach.
No, he's not.
Wasn't he your coach for a while?
No. I mean, he trained at Kings, for a while, but when I was there. But no, I was surprised he's a 3-1 underdog. Like, is that not crazy to anybody else? But
didn't he get popped like 3 times in a row and hates the UFC and wants out of his contract and talks all this shit to people? It doesn't seem like his head's really into it. He looked terrible his last fight. I mean, we're talking about a guy that beat Fedor. That back in the day, a guy that knocked out. Who did he have his number? Cain Velasquez, right? He had Cain's number, but this is not the same guy that had Cain's number.
No, I agree.
He has Domino's number now or something.
A lot of my speculation comes from Gustafsson. It's like he's a 205er. He's coming back. He had a couple of rough fights. You remember that when he retired for a short minute, but
Anthony Smith.
Heavyweight. I mean, heavyweights, man, that's a different ball game.
Right, but will his speed help? I mean, he's gonna keep.
Oh, for sure, no, undoubtedly. I think his movement, his footwork, his speed, it'll definitely be an advantage. But if Verdum gets him on the ground, it's over. Game over.
So, Carla Esparza is fighting Marina Rodriguez. You probably don't know much about Marina Rodriguez, do you?
Yeah, well, I've seen her last fight. But that's an interesting fight. I mean, I've always been a good friend of Carla. She's awesome. It's a good fight. It's women's. I'm very bad at picking women's fights. I really am. I've always.
Easier.
What's that?
I think it's much easier. No.
Really? Every time I bet him, it's always wrong. I'm always wrong.
Me too. Same here.
I think there's a huge. I just feel like there's a huge. It's like. I'm not saying it's not as evolved as men's MMA, but you could see where one person has a clear advantage.
Sure.
Very rarely am I surprised on a women's fight, to be honest.
Really?
I mean, the hard part is when you have like a Joanna versus Zhang Well, like when you have people that are just like at the top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of times, like the 6 versus the 12, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this girl's got 2 draws, the Marina girl, and I think she lost to who am I thinking of? She's lost to somebody. Who she lost
right now?
She lost to a girl from The Ultimate Fighter. I think the girl from Canada, right?
Cynthia Calvillo was a draw, and then Randa Marcos was a draw.
Randa, right? So I'm thinking that Carla's got this. She's on a hot streak.
Yeah, dude, and I honestly I wasn't so confident. She had her last fight when she fought Karate Hottie.
Yeah.
That was like, wow, this is gonna be a great fight, and she surprised me. She hung in there and she grinded it out. But even that was a close fight. I had a lot of people picking the Karate Hottie in that fight too. But I agree, she's got some momentum. She's got some confidence, and she could definitely do it. I think she's gonna win.
Also, this card is a guy named Paul Craig, whose nickname is Bear Jew. He's not Jewish. I don't even know why, but he just goes by Bear Jew, which, look, hey, I'm Jewish. We'll take any fighter we can. He's a guy that, like, he loses his fights, but he wins with, like, he beat Ankalaev with 1 second left, a fight that he clearly lost 3 10-8 rounds. Remember that guy? He was just getting the shit beaten out of him and pulled off a triangle with, like, 1 second left, which normally Jews aren't that lucky. But I like this guy. And then Nicholas Dalby's back, and I'm happy for him because there's a guy that went toe-to-toe with Darren Till. He had a huge depression battle, was like out of MMA for a while. I mean, it was like suicide, some really like dark times. He's back, so I'm happy about that. And then Betch versus Panny is going on. Betch Kahay versus Panny Kanzan. Kennedy's working as a first responder, EMT, right now for people who have coronavirus. So I got to go for that girl. 100%. And then finally, and then Reese Darby, and that's not his name. Reese Darby's a singer, but he's fighting that guy, Chaev, the guy that fought like last week, who's like 5-0. They're calling him the Wolf. Speaking of the Wolf, that guy's legit, right?
Once, I had him in a bunch of parlays, so
he'll be champ.
Speaking of the Wolf, on Flow Wrestling this week, Darian Caldwell's wrestling. They got a bunch of studs. Yeah, Flow Wrestling is having a huge wrestling event, and Caldwell is one of the wrestlers. So his last time he wrestled, I think, was a win over, Brett Metcalf in the finals at NCAA's when he did. That was
like when I was in high school.
That was unbelievable. That was fuck you. That was awesome, dude. That was high school. Don't hate me.
It was, it was. Yeah, that was probably, 10 years ago, 8 years ago?
About 10 years ago. I think it was the same thing when Bubba Jenkins pinned David Taylor in the finals. That was the same thing. And then Phil Davis, I think, won also on that NCAA.
He is.
So, well, listen, have fun in the river. Thank you, Joe. It was great seeing you, man. Are you enjoying these? I feel like you're being held hostage by me. Is everything okay, Jake?
Oh, I think you're Joe. You were good, man.
Are you actually liking these podcasts?
I do. I literally, my kids are crazy, but it's all good, man. No, I have
like community service for you or something. I feel like this is part of you're like clocking in for your community service.
I'm getting my hours for court, for work. It's no big deal.
Well, thank you. You have anything coming up? Are you doing any more of those submission undergrounds or?
Not right now. We were talking about August 30th. There's a big submission underground, but it's full. So not right now.
All right. Well, thank you, Jake. Weenda, what do you got coming up?
Just go subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Joe Perez Show, and that's it, dude.
All right. Well, Friday night I'll be on Zoom doing a comedy show, 8:00. Thank you guys so much. Jake, you're the best. Love you guys.
Take care.
All the time, brother. Good